Hey, this is Will, and in this lesson, we're going to begin setting up the Kubernetes control plane, first by installing the Kubernetes control plane binaries. So essentially what we'll be doing in this lesson is we will be logging into our two Kubernetes control servers, and we will be downloading and installing the binaries for those Kubernetes services that we need to set up and configure. So as you may remember, I have 5 cloud servers set up currently, and these first 2 servers, 1 and 2, those are my 2 Kubernetes control servers. So those are the 2 servers that we're going to be working with in this lesson, and we need to do all these steps that we're going to do on both of these 2 servers. So I'm going to go ahead and get logged in. I'm going to copy the public IP of my first control server, and I have a split screen set up over here. I'm just going to log in to that first server with SSH user at, and then I'll paste in that public IP. And now I'm logged into my first cloud server. I'm going to come back over here, and I'm going to get the public IP for the second cloud server. And I'll do the same over here on the right. So now I'm logged into both cloud servers, and I actually have them side by side here so you can see what I'm doing on both servers, but I made the left panel a little bit wider just so we can clearly see the commands. Just know that I'm going to be running the same commands on both servers. Now, if you have a client that allows you to simultaneously enter the same commands on multiple servers, such as something like tmux or multi-exec, feel free to use that. I'll be using multi-exec a little bit. If you don't have the ability to do that, just make sure that you enter all the commands for both of the control servers. So what I'm going to be doing first is I'm going to be creating a configuration directory where we can store our Kubernetes configs. So I'll do a sudo mkdir-p on /etc/kubernetes/config. And again, notice I'm making this directory simultaneously in both of my 2 servers. So now I've created my configuration directory, and I'm going to go ahead and just paste in this command. Now, I don't want you to have to read this command off the screen in the video and try to manually type it in. So if you look down below the video, you can actually find this command as well as all the commands that I'm using in this demo. You can find those in the description to the video, so feel free to just copy and paste this command. All that we're doing is we're using a wget to download 4 different files, and these are our 4 Kubernetes executables that we need to download to each of our servers. We have the Kube API server executable, we have the Kube controller manager, Kube scheduler, and we also have kubectl. Now, kubectl is not going to be one of the services that we'll set up, but it's a good idea to have kubectl installed on our controllers just so that we can use it to interact with Kubernetes when we're logged into the server. So I'm going to go ahead and execute that command, and we'll wait for that download to complete. So now I'm finished downloading those files on both servers. I need to add an executable permission to each one of them. So I'm going to do a chmod +x. If I don't add this permission, then later on when we try to execute these executables, it's going to fail because we won't have permission to actually execute them. So I'm going to do chmod +x on all 4 files, and I can do it all in one command. I'm going to do kube-api server, kube-controller-manager, kube-scheduler, and kubectl. So now I've added the executable permission, and the final step that I need to do in order to install these binaries is to move these files into the correct location. So I'm just going to do a sudo mv, and I'm going to move all 4 files, Kube API server, Kube controller manager, Kube scheduler, and kubectl. I'm going to move all 4 to user/local/bin. And that's just going to move those files into the appropriate location. And that's the location that we'll use to run them from with our service scripts later on. So that's all I need to do in order to install the Kubernetes control plane binaries. It's just a matter of downloading the files, setting the permissions and moving them into the appropriate location that we will run them from later. Now we're ready to go ahead and start configuring our Kubernetes control plane services in the following lessons.